Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining wherever you're joining from. Good to have everybody here. See some new faces who are not normally able to join us live because we are here in Bangkok, where it is a very different time of day than I normally stream. So all of you in the US are going to wake up to the live stream being over. Sorry about that, but hey, it gives us a chance for some new people to show up and hang out live. Great. I love the comments. What a time to be watching live. Oh, Matt is here in the US. It is very early there. And IT never gets old. Says I hope he can get everything working. I almost got it all working. I mean, I think we're live, but I will explain. Lily, do you want to say hi before you take off? I think I can give you a microphone. Let's see.
Oh, how fancy.
Let's see if this works. Assuming it's... Or you can just shout loudly.
Are we actually live? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We should. Hopefully, people will tell us if they can actually see us.
It looks
but
like we're live.
I'm pretty sure we're live.
It looks like we're live at least. Hi. I'm gonna go get some caffeine. But I figured I'd pop in.
Yeah, we have at least one confirmation that we're live. Great. Yeah, it is Sunday, late afternoon, 4 p.m. here, and just got into Bangkok this morning on the train from Chiang Mai, so been a long day already, actually. Okay, got more confirmations that we're live.
Great.
And Matt says hi.
We're live at least in several actual places.
Yeah, we did a live stream on Lily's channel already. We hadn't actually really arrived at our first destination at that point.
No, we had like how many hours? Like 10-hour layover essentially overnight in Bangkok on our way to Chiang Mai.
Right.
So we stayed at an airport hotel, and my live stream, I did it at pretty much the normal time at that first hotel. And
yeah, you got to do pretty much normal time, which was very early for us here, but it ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have even been it. I am a little disappointed because the Portland daylight saving time started the weekend before we left, right. So it would have been and they don't do daylight saving time here, so it would have been a slightly more normal. It would have been 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah. But 6:30 wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, except that we got in at midnight.
Right. But yeah, so we had a good week in Chiang Mai, and then took the overnight train last night at 6 p.m., got in here at about almost 7 a.m., and been just...
Really nice. That's my review.
Really nice?
This is my 49th...
Oh, the train, yeah.
Yeah, 49th country I've done transit in, and...
I'll try to dig up some pictures of that too in a little bit.
But yeah, that's my review. We were in first class, but
yes. It was very nice.
Yeah, we had our own sleeper compartment.
Yeah, so I will do a quick overview of what I brought with me out for streaming, and we will let you go get some coffee or tea. And
it's lovely to see you all.
Then we will get some dinner later.
Yep, we're gonna go on tuk tuks and eat street food.
Yeah.
Have fun.
We will. Okay, cool. Switch over to this camera so you can see what I've got going on here. Oh, I should get rid of the transition. So so here is the rig I brought with me. I'm using the Director Mini today. I almost brought the Director 1, the new one, which is larger, but I wanted to really just keep things small because I'm trying to keep the kit small for this trip. So I brought the Mini also because I have this stand for it. This is the PK1 stand. There should be a link to this below. The wires look really messy it doesn't look that bad from my side, I swear. I think it's because the table is reflective. Anyway, Director Mini is running the stream. This lets me bring in the chat, the graphics, the 2 cameras, the map. I can bring the map in over here. Oh, I need to get rid of the transition. I can do the wipe transition. I can do cuts, fades, all that good stuff. This actually has 2 modes where you can either have it. It has little transitions built in, so you can do cut transitions or those little wipes, which I normally just like for the intro, not for the whole show. It's got the quick switch. The part that was almost working on it was the SRT. And I, like I normally do, test everything before I go live. So earlier this morning, I had this set up and I was live on YouTube on a private link, and using SRT to my YouTube channel, since I had that enabled in the beta, and everything was working great, did it just fine. And then when I went to start just now, I clicked on start streaming SRT, and it was just like, nope, not gonna work. So I had to switch over to RTMP. So we're pushing an RTMP feed to YouTube right now. Interestingly, it is actually set to, the Director Mini is set to stream let's see, can I zoom in? Yes. The Director Mini is actually streaming a H.265 stream over RTMP, which I think is not necessarily conventional. So if I go into the stream settings here, or not stream settings, the encode settings, I'm encoding a H.265 program at 2.5 megabits a second, and that's what I'm pushing up to YouTube. So I am not doing this with any kind of redundancy. My internet connection got lucky. There's a wired Ethernet jack in the hotel room. So I have my travel router, of course. This is wired into the travel router. The travel router is wired into the hotel room Ethernet jack. And then everything else on my desk is wireless. So the other things I brought with me, of course, oh, I gotta switch that back to pan mode. My computer is wirelessly tethered to the travel router that's over there. My iPad is also wirelessly on the travel router, and that means they're all on the local network. And because they're all on the local network, it means that I can do things like share my iPad screen over NDI into this. So we can go over and show you, for example, the photos I was editing in Lightroom. On the iPad, this is a NDI screen sharing from the iPad into the Director Mini, which is super cool, I think. I've also got, I could bring my iPhone in as a camera, so we can do that as well. Lots of fun things we can do. Let me take a look at the chats here. Oh, Shane is joining live from Australia. Not a normal time you can join live. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Excited to be here in time and not watching a replay. Yes, exactly. Bowls promo. You can watch while I'm awake. 7 p.m. Australia. Yeah, nice. Oh, and we've got Jeremy from Sydney also. And Craig from Sydney. Amazing. Christopher says, I stopped bringing a travel router because when I go on cruises, they said they have set it as a banned item. No way. I mean, it makes sense. They're like, they want to charge you the per device internet rate, but that's wild. Jeremy says, Chiang Mai is very nice. Did a trip there after finishing high school back in 2019, filming a trip. It is very nice. It is, I haven't really spent that much time in Bangkok yet because we just got here this morning, and then I was mostly doing work this morning, except for a quick break for lunch at the mall next door. This is so huge compared to Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is like not even a small city. It was just very chill, and this is wild. So it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun week of meetings and stuff. Craig says, "Hey, will you be going to NAB this year?" So yes, although very short. I'm coming in Saturday night, and then on Sunday, I'm at the expo hall on Sunday, so I'll be there as soon as they open at 10. I actually might have the pass that gets me in at 9 a.m. I can't remember. I'm not going to do a live stream because I'm only there for Sunday. So I'm actually going to miss the Sunday live stream that week, ironically. But I'm going to try to hit as many of the booths as I can to see what people are bringing to the show this year. Try to visit some of the regulars that I usually visit. Hopefully meet the folks at OC again. Always nice to see them. And of course, Frank from YoloLive. And in and out, and I leave on Sunday night from NAB. So I only get one day at the expo hall this year. I just had another conflict on Monday and the rest of the week. So kind of a bummer, but hopefully I will at least get to see some people there. Brian says, hey, Aaron, great to see you live on the road. Yes, it's also a much better time for our European visitors, so that's also nice to see you all here. What kind of bandwidth are you rocking? Looks good. I am pushing up 2.5 megabits. I didn't set it to be a very aggressive stream. 2.5 megabits of H.265, so it's a lot more compressed, but it should look pretty good. And the bandwidth up is not the fastest I've ever had, but it seemed, when I did a speed test, it seemed to be about 20 to 30 megabits up and down. And again, I am wired in, which is great. Shane says, how did the DJI mics go on Lily's stream? Worked well. She did a stream on Tuesday. I threw this together really quick. It was the same kit. Actually, I didn't even use, I only had her using the DJI Pocket 3. So today, my main camera is actually my LUMIX GH7, which I brought for photos mostly. I did not bring it for the live stream. I brought it for photos. And the secondary camera I'm using is the Pocket 3, which is over here. For her stream, I just used the Pocket 3 as the main camera because I hadn't even got my camera out of the bag and I didn't want to deal with setting it all up. So for her stream, it was just the Pocket 3. We had the DJI mics going in over USB on her stream into the Director Mini. And I think that it was doing the thing where there's a little bit of audio popping on the USB interface with the DJI Mini Mic. Right now, I'm actually wired in analog, so hopefully you don't hear any issues with this audio. So that's my attempt at fixing that, because I'm not actually sure if it came through on her stream or not, but because I was listening to the headphone mix from the Director Mini, and I could hear it popping every now and then, and I assume that means it was also popping on the live stream, and I got like one person complained, but normally, her live stream viewers are not like analyzing every square inch of the stream for streaming quality the way that you all are. So probably it happened on the stream on hers. So hopefully now going in analog into the Director Mini has solved that. The other thing I did have to do, which is my favorite little trick, and I'll actually show you this because it's a good tip. Let me just zoom in on this so you can see the screen. So I've got the analog audio coming in, and I'm using my GH7, LUMIX GH7 for the main angle. And the LUMIX cameras all have a delay out the HDMI port. Most cameras do, but LUMIX ones, it's pretty significant. And that means if I have analog audio coming in, trying to match with the HDMI video from the camera, it would be out of sync. And again, this is true for most cameras with HDMI out. I think there's like, I don't even think there's any cameras that have below a frame of latency out the HDMI port. You can get cameras with much lower latency out SDI, but just because of the way HDMI works, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, this is all to say that make sure if you're using HDMI video and analog audio that you sync up your audio. The quickest way to do that is, and I'll go into the Director Menu to show you, the quickest way to do that is to turn on both audios. So here I have the mic audio, which is coming from the mic jack. I'm going to now turn on the HDMI audio, and you shouldn't hear a double because they're already in sync, but I will make it double up and show you how to fix it. So in the settings, if you go to audio, there is an input delay, and you can choose the input delay for each of the audio channels you've got in the Director Mini. I'm going to turn the headphone jack down, and you're going to hear me doubled up, so I'm going to do this really quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the audio delay to 0. I'm going to do a clap. So you should hear 2 claps, and then I'm going to adjust the audio until there's only 1 clap. So I'm going to put on headphones for this too. So here we go. So now you hear me doubled up. 2 claps. Where's my hands? 2 claps. 36 milliseconds. I still hear 2. 100. Much better. Closer. 116. Really close. Now just kind of sound like an echo. Maybe 130. Almost. Almost. Yeah, there we go. Now we're in sync. So that's my little clap test method for getting audio delay working. And now I can turn off the HDMI audio, and now you have only the mic audio. But that means now it's in sync with this instead of being delayed. IT Never Gets Old says, DJI mics sound really good. They do, actually. I'm really impressed with these are the little new mini ones. DJI sent these to me to do a video on the channel. I should link that below. Let me grab the video link while I'm here. But I did a little video about them earlier, and I'm impressed, and they're nice and small. Here is the video link. It's in the chat, and I'll make sure it gets into the description later as well. Christopher says, that's one unusually large desk for a hotel room. It is a very large round table. It's like dining room table sized. Brian says, how do you show comments live app on the iPad? So I'm using my normal web-based chat system. So it's, you can, if I go back to the, this other angle, this is, oops, I keep forgetting to switch back and forth. This is the interface that you'll see on my behind the scenes every now and then of how I'm looking at the chats. And here's my questions column. Here's the main chat column, like timer buttons and stuff. Anyway, this pushes to a web page, and the web page then shows the, it's brought into the Director Mini as a graphics overlay source. So it's just a web page that acts as a graphics overlay. And that's how I bring the chats in. So it's nice that it's able to happen in the Director Mini, and I don't have to have any other gear at all. Drumcat says, is the YoloBox Extreme actually going to be released? Yes, it will be very, very soon. I think they're trying to release it before NAB. Unfortunately, I'm not at home, so I'm not going to be able to film a video. I'm going to film it as soon as I get back, and it should be released very, very, very soon, within a couple of weeks. So, Highlight Photography says, I've been using the DJI Mini Mic since they came out and sold the mic 2 as they're so much more convenient and nice, rich sound. Yeah, they are, yeah, really impressive. They also pair directly to the Pocket 3, which I like. So for doing like vlogs and stuff as we've been out, I've been, well, actually, so I brought both. And the reason is because I wanted the, where did I put it? I thought I tossed it in this bag. Oh yeah, this is the, I brought this with me. This is the Brevity bag. I also have a video about this one. It's a good bag. It's it's the one that has like this flip out thing on the front for stuffing the camera and things like that. It has been very useful for these kinds of trips where I need a kind of modular pack. There it is. I did shove it in there. So I brought the mic 2 because this is paired to the Pocket 3. And I've been sticking this in my little day bag as we've been out and about and using it to film stuff for Lily. She's like did a video about the train, things like that. And then the mic Mini is in this case, and I didn't want to, well, if I'm using it with the Pocket 3, I don't need the receiver. So what I did was, rather than having to switch this to be paired with the receiver or with the Pocket 3, as I'm going back and forth between going out or live streaming, because we're doing Tuesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Tuesday live streams, 5 live streams while we're gone. And I figured it'd be easier to just take both. And this one just lives with that one. This one pairs with the receiver for the live streams. But if I do ever need to film something where we're both talking, I will pair both mini mics to the Pocket 3, and that's also, it's just super nice. Oh, good point from Brian. You could put the DJI into the camera's audio input, and then less sound quality than delaying it manually. I'm not sure what that part means, but yeah. So the other way to do this is right now I'm running the receiver into the into the Director Mini analog, and that means that it shows up as a channel, as an audio channel here that I can mix, right? Which means I do have to sync it with the camera audio, because otherwise the camera HDMI is delayed, right? So the alternative is I wire the receiver into the camera, and then it's automatically in sync, which is convenient. However, it also means that if my camera battery dies, or if I, for example, didn't actually give it wired power, the audio would die too. So this is something that it's happened a couple times. Probably won't happen today because, one, I gave it USB power because this GH7 can be powered over USB now. But when I was using the GH5S and just running off of a battery, if I needed to swap the batteries, then of course the audio would die. So that's the downside of that. So there's Bailey. Nice to see you. It's a good time for us Aussies. Yes. Oh, and we've got another New Zealander. Fantastic. George says that I packed the drone as well. Okay, so I looked into it, and I'm spending the most time in Thailand, and that is last week in Chiang Mai and this week in Bangkok. After this week, we're going to Cambodia, to short trip just to visit the big temple, and then Vietnam. And the temple, so Cambodia, I think Cambodia, if I remember correctly, like the country's drone laws are very permissive, but the temple has very strict drone laws, like basically none. Like, don't fly. You need a commercial permit to film anything that's going to go be posted anywhere. That costs like $10,000, blah, 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 right? Like one of those. And I can't justify this as vacation photos if I'm sharing it on YouTube. So Cambodia's out. Vietnam, I actually can't remember because at that point, so let me come back to Vietnam. Thailand, I looked up the laws here. It is possible. It's relatively, like once you're through the process, the laws are relatively permissive. You can't fly directly over people, but there's a lot of things you can do. However, to get a drone license, you need 2 agencies to sign off on it. One is the airspace controller, and the other is, I think it's the wireless, like, equivalent of FCC, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, there's 2 different departments you need permission from. And you do have to register your drone. There's an exception for not registering, but I think that's, as soon as you're in, like, posting on YouTube, you can't use that exception. In order to get that permission, you need to, there's some fees, and they weren't too bad. The most complicated part was that you need your actual visa, your entry visa, in order to actually finish the application. So you can do some part of it online before you arrive, but then once you actually get your passport stamped when you come in, you need to take that to a police station or some sort of office in person to finish the application, where you then also pay for it. And at that point I was like, I think this is just too complicated, and this is just not gonna be worth it, because one, when I'm in the city here, probably not a lot of good opportunities to fly anyway, also because of my schedule. Chiang Mai would have been cool, although it was really smoggy, so the pictures wouldn't even look that good. It was very poor visibility. And then no flying in Cambodia, and then no, I think Vietnam. Now I can't even remember, because at that point I was like, well, it's too complicated to fly anywhere else. I'm not bringing it just for 4 days at the end of the trip. So that is my drone story. Matt says, can you do a poll currently arguing with Frank at YOLO Live on internal versus external battery? He thinks people prefer internal. I prefer external for all kinds of reasons. Oh, this is a great poll. I will start this poll right now. Let's do this. Okay. Where is the poll button? Start a poll. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to say, let's do the poll. Do you prefer internal or external batteries for a video switcher? External option, internal. So external, for example, would be Sony NPF. Internal would be non-replaceable. So just to clarify, this is like for example, this is the difference between the Magewell Director Mini and the YoloBox. The Director Mini has no batteries in the product. There are slots on the bottom for 2 Sony NPF batteries. The YoloBox has a built-in battery that you cannot remove. So the case does not come apart, at least not user serviceably, and you cannot switch the batteries in the YoloBox. If the batteries ever lost their wear out, you might be able to send it in to get it replaced. You might be able to take it apart and find an equivalent yourself, but it's like not really meant. It's like iPhone batteries, right? Like you're not going to replace that battery. So I'm going to do the poll. The options are external or internal, and let's see what the votes say. It's a very scientific poll, of course, but we'll let this run for a while on the stream. Drumcat says, I prefer internal. You can always get an external through USB-C if needed. So it's an interesting point because it's not necessarily always the case. For example, sometimes the power requirement of the device is more than the USB-C battery can provide. So you may not actually be able to use the USB-C battery to charge the internal battery. Even if you can, that's definitely less efficient. So it's not necessarily as clean cut as that. Bailey says, if I was Frank, I'd be concerned about people not buying batteries that are compatible, wrong type, don't have enough output, and then having issues and blaming the product. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with power adapters, right? Where it's like people use underpowered USB-C or 12 volt power adapters and then wonder why things don't work. Shane says, wow, the poll is strong one way. Okay, what is it at? So far we have 19 votes, 100% say external. One person just said internal. 1 out of 20. That is pretty strong in one direction. I agree. Okay, so one other cool thing I can do with the Director Mini is show you my iPad screen. Let's do that again. I can show you some of the photos from the trip. So this is just walking around Chiang Mai. These are the ones I edited in Lightroom. It's very hot. I'm not a fan of hot weather, it turns out. It is hot and humid, and so my amount of time outside I've been trying to minimize it. But yeah, here, this is just from walking around the street. It was kind of fun. Weirdly, this trip I've been like super fascinated by all of the like utilities and infrastructure for some reason. I don't know why, but like all these AC compressors on the buildings are just super interesting looking. I guess maybe it's because they clearly don't have any zoning laws that prevent you from putting these things in just random places. So they'll be like on the fronts of buildings or stacked or like hanging out windows. yeah, it's really interesting. And then also, oh, this was just a cool light installation at one of the markets. The sunsets, I will say, have been disappointing because of how smoggy it is. So this was the best I could do. There's some more utilities. Oh yeah, this was one of the, I think this was morning. Definitely a bit edited to emphasize the light. Here are some of the wild utilities that have been just fascinating. The rat's nest of wires. Like, talk about cable management. The city clearly has like, it works, but I don't know what it is about this that, like, the city, there must not be rules, because look at this giant mess. Look at that. Some of these are not low voltage either. Like, some of these are high, like, mains voltage 220, coming into that little substation and then splitting out. Here's another just like random residential pole in front of this building. It's a disaster. I don't understand how they navigate. This one's particularly bad. It is wild to me that this is like possible, safe, maintainable. Like, I don't really understand how the city works like this. Look at at least they have the little service spools, but seriously, makes me want to find some city that has like the most impeccable cable management on their utility poles and take pictures for contrast. Yeah, the wires look like my desk. Looks like this desk. Bickies is probably 600 volt coming into the transformers. Yeah, that's the crazy part, is that, like, especially on the one, on this one, like, this is the high voltage coming in on the top to that transformer that steps it down for distribution. And then you'll see this structure in a bunch of places around the city, where it's like the two poles, the cross beam, the transformer on the top, the three wires coming into the transformer, and then it splits out into all the service lines, like the 220s, to serve the buildings. These ones are just like, I think some of these are low voltage communications probably, but some of this one looks like it has a combination of both. That one looks like a combination of both, but I don't see any transformers on that one. It's wild. It's wild. Okay, how is the poll doing? 24 votes, still only one, 25 votes, only one vote for internal. Okay. Of course, we're not necessarily the typical set of users. It's true, but you are clearly one of the markets that YoloBox, YoloLive is targeting, so it's important. Christopher says, the power cables are a mess because some of the cables were not officially installed. Then once that began, even the power company would have no chance to trace a line. That sounds terrifying. Matt says, I was trying to fly my drone in Africa and the wires were like that and no way to navigate the drone. Yeah, there's no chance I'm flying a drone that low around those power cords. No thanks. Yeah, these photos are from Chiang Mai. Bangkok has similar ones as far as I can tell, but I haven't actually been out long enough to really get a sense. We were in Chiang Mai until this morning, so that's where my photos are from. Most of the photos are from. This is another cool thing about the Director Mini. I guess the YoloBox does this too, but my iPad is wireless right now. It's just on my Wi-Fi, and I'm using the NDI Capture app, NDI HX Capture, and it is screen capturing the iPad and sending it wirelessly into the Director Mini, where I can then create a layout here. Pretty good performance considering I'm on just like the tiny little travel router. This was from the elephant sanctuary. We went to go visit elephants, but it turns out that like a lot of places that have you visit elephants do not take care of their elephants, and like you are not supposed to ride elephants. They're not made for that. So we went and found one that like rescues elephants from places, and you can walk very close to them, but you can't ride them and you can't touch them. But I was able to get some pretty fun photos of them eating branches, just whole branches. Kind of fun. They're very cute. This one was about like walking towards us. Oh, I got some pictures of Lily taking pictures of elephants. Because why not? It was very hot there. Oh my gosh. They can pet the elephants, but we can't. That's fair. Little baby one. I think he was actually a teenager. They went and took a little bath in the water. It was fun. Oh, this is when they started chasing everyone. Not chasing everyone. They were just trying to get back to the main area, and everybody was in the way, so we all had to move very quickly. They can go pretty fast once they start picking up the pace. Oh yeah, there we go. There they are in the water. These were all from my LUMIX camera. I brought a long lens for that too. I'm not sure what's going on with the Lightroom showing, like doing that color change as I switch photos. I think it might be applying the edits as I'm scrolling through. Oh yeah, then they cover themselves in dirt. It was fun. It was a good half day trip. That was enough being outside in the sun for me, for sure. They know where the treats come from, so attacking that poor car. Yeah. Poo Poo Paper Park is pretty cool. I saw a bunch of stuff from that shop being sold around town. It was hilarious. IT Never Gets Old says that's NDI HX with the Director Mini. Yeah, it is NDI HX, which is all I need for this because I don't want to overload my poor little travel router with full NDI. Oh, Craig says Frank is the one person who's voted internal. Yeah, we are on 26 votes and still only one vote for internal. Dan Splaining says the internal batteries in my Rode Wireless Go 2 swelled and popped the transmitters open. Oh my God. You should write to Rode support because they have now actually committed to, what was it? This was in response to, it was Tom Buck and Curtis Judd did videos about the battery situation with transmitters, with wireless mics, which I 100% agree with. All these little things, like it's really too bad that the batteries are not swappable, just because they're gonna die eventually. But Rode committed to like not just having them become trash. So you might be able to get them to replace them for you. Oh, they already did. Great. Replace them more than a year out of warranty. Yeah, good. Bailey says, I just picked up an Ursa Mini 4K Gen 1 used for 1,000 Australian dollars, 600 US dollars. Absolutely loving the image quality so far. Amazing. That sounds like a very good deal. Jeremy says, since we are 5 years on from COVID, do you think without lockdown, we wouldn't have seen a boom in the cheaper video switchers? It transformed the landscape. I remember your OG ATEM Mini video. So here's the funny thing about that is that I made those videos 4 months before all the lockdowns started. I made most of the videos about the ATEM Mini in December 2019. And they got some views in December 2019, but they all took off in March and April 2019. But I don't think, like, I think that Blackmagic they were clearly like already down that road. They just happened to be timed perfectly for the market. But I do think they would have been successful even if everybody hadn't switched into lockdown mode. Just because it is like, it would have been a lot harder, of course, to get that many sales and to create that market. But I do think it would have happened anyway. The reason that I even made the videos in the first place was because as soon as Blackmagic put out the ATEM Mini, I was like, this is amazing that there's a $300 version of these large switchers that I had been using for a long time, where the cheapest one before was the ATEM Television Studio with the one with 4 HDMI and 4 SDI, and that was $1,000. And I was like, oh my God, a $300 switcher that can do all these things, that's incredible. And that's why I made the videos about it, because I was just so excited. And so yeah, I think that they would have, I think people still would have, like, you know, other people would have cloned that just the same and made, you know, that market would have existed. It just probably would have been a lot slower. Brian says, is there a link for the replacement batteries? Just email their support. They will probably replace it for you. Matt says, I had an Apple laptop pop. It was out of warranty and Apple only charged for the battery, not the install. Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like a liability to them. So, yeah. Christopher says, if the battery is installed on the back, the stand needs to be redesigned. Yeah, so with this one, with the way I have the Director Mini here, this stand supports the, I believe the slimmest Sony batteries can fit under here, but only the ones that are like that tall. Anything else doesn't work with the stand, but that's fine because, like, I'm not even using batteries with this right now, right? It's hardwired in. That's the point of the stand. If I was using batteries, it would probably be because this is on a tripod or in a cage on a camera rig or something like that. Also, if you have the batteries, they also prevent they give you enough height here that the fan doesn't sit on the table anymore, so it's less important other than the angle anyway. Cool. Where was I in the chat? Nigel says, hope you're enjoying the trip so far. Yeah, so far so good. It's been fun. Although I will say I do not like the heat. This Chiang Mai was 65% humidity, which was pretty humid. Definitely more than I like. And it was getting up to like mid 90s. What is that? I'm so bad at like 35-ish Celsius. And too hot. Did not like it, especially in the sun. Got here this morning in Bangkok, sun was barely even up. So it was only like not even 90 yet. So probably like, I think it was like 26 or 27 Celsius when we got out of the train at like 7 a.m. But the humidity, oh my God, it was like walking into an oven. I hate it, cannot stand it. I am just going to just like stay in air conditioning as much as I can, because oh my God, I could never live here. Absolutely not. IT Never Gets Old says, you're really gutsy moving that around during the stream with non-locking cables. I'm gentle with it. It's fine. I can pick it up and not pull things out. Nothing is like stressed. There's no, it's fine. What's the worst that can happen? Bailey says, we've had a couple of 35 to 40 Celsius days the past couple of weeks. That's terrible. That's crazy. Yeah, Africa can be warm, but the lack of humidity, yeah, the humidity is just makes it terrible. I can deal with 90 degrees for a small amount of time if it's not super humid, but as soon as it's humid, it's just like, ugh. It's just like drenched in sweat as soon as I take a step outside. It's terrible. Cannot stand it. Anyway, probably need to actually wrap this up a little bit early today because we've got dinner plans, gonna go ride around the city. Speaking of being outside in the heat, hopefully we'll be riding around as the sun's going down, so it'll be a little bit less hot, but it is definitely gonna be humid. So, yeah, it'll be fun. Was there if you want to see more pictures from the trip, what I'm going to do is point you to Lily's stream on Tuesday, because she'll probably want to talk even more about stuff now that we've actually had a chance to do things other than ride planes for 24 hours. I don't think she's actually posted her next live stream, but I'll drop her channel link in the chat anyway. Yeah, otherwise this has been fun. Oh, should I show you the view out the window before we wrap up? I feel like that's fun. There we go. That is what I'm looking at out the window. Hot day, very hot. That mall, that concrete block in the bottom right corner is the mall, and I cannot believe how many food places there are in there. It's amazing. Matt's going back to bed. Thanks for the poll. Oh yeah, how did we end up with the poll? I think we had one more vote for internal. So the final results are, gosh, I don't have a good way to share this. Oh wait, I do. I can mirror my screen to my iPad. Is that going to work? What do you think? Is this going to work? This is the one thing I'm going to experiment with before we wrap up. I'm going to also show you what's going on here, because if this works, it's going to be crazy. So my iPad is NDI screen capture is sending it over to the Director Mini here, right? So what do you think is going to happen if I AirPlay my computer screen to the iPad? Is it going to work? Lily's back. I'm about to wrap up.
I figured you were about done.
There's my computer screen.
There's also a reception for the conference happening on the 4th floor.
Oh yeah, I usually don't go to that. There's the computer screen. Did it show up on the iPad? It did. Oh my God, that's so cool. There's the final poll results. 90% prefer external batteries, 10% internal out of 29 votes. So that means 3 people have said internal batteries. Well, there you have it. Colin says food is great in Thailand. Yes, got a bug sick for sure, definitely. I already got a bug bite from walking the block and a half to the mall because I forgot to put on bug spray this morning. Yes. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Let's see if this works. Let's see if we can get the outro music to work and everything. There we go. Thanks a lot. Thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Larry, Kevin, and Marcin. Thanks everybody else for joining. Fun to see you here at an unusual time for me. To all the US folks who are watching the replay, now you get to know what it's like for the Australians and Europeans who don't get to watch live every week. Good to have you too. Links to stuff will be in the chat, and I'm going to try to copy it into the description as well. And see you again next week. Hopefully, don't know exactly where I'm going to be or when the stream will be. I can't promise this will be at the same time, but it's definitely not going to be at the normal time. And a link to Lily's channel is below also, so you can see some of the more of the photos from our trip on her stream on Tuesday.
And maybe an edited YouTube video.
And maybe an edited YouTube video.
Don't want to overpromise.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, we are going to wrap this up. Thanks again, and see you all next week.